Curtis Trades here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Tymate M12 and the Tymate M7 tire pressure monitoring systems. And these are both external tire pressure monitoring systems which will monitor the tire pressure level of your tires, and they will give an accurate readout of the tire pressure in the cabin. And the really nice thing about these is you don't have to have a tire pressure monitor inside the tire, and so you don't have to go to a specialty tire store or have your tires removed for you to install these. You can do these on your own, and they just go on the end of the valve stems. And it's a very simple process to do, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm also going to compare the two models and show you what the differences are between them. And so you might be asking yourself, why would you want to use one of these? Well, the big reason is because if you want to know if you have a low tire, let's say you do long commutes every day, and you might hit something on the road, it would be important to know if your tire is going flat or if it's flat already, because that increases the chances of having a tire blowout, which is a very catastrophic event and can be very dangerous on the road. And the other big reason you might want to use one of these is because it might be a lot easier to just buy something simple like this that's under $100 to get a pressure readout versus having to buy a whole new car that has the system working on it from the factory. And so this is a good way to add on a tire pressure monitoring system if you don't already have one. Another thing too is that some vehicles like mine here, it doesn't give actual readouts of the tire pressure. It just says when the tire pressure gets below a certain threshold, my car will alarm me of that, but it doesn't give an actual readout of what the pressure is. So this is a much more accurate way to get a tire pressure readout. It also does tire temperatures as well, which is pretty cool. So it'll basically let you know if your tires are too highly inflated or too low inflated, and it will give you a warning in the car. So what comes in the box? If you open these up, these two are actually very similar products. They're both made by the same company. And I was actually really surprised how small these are. When I saw them on Amazon, I thought they were going to be way bigger than they are, like twice the size, but they're actually very small, and I like that a lot because then they're very discreet when you put them in your car. You could even tuck them in a little cubby, for example, or if you want to mount them up higher on your dash where they're a little bit more visible, you could do that as well. But inside the box, they contain dust shields, the 4 sensors for your tires, the readout mechanism, and a charging cable. Now, the charging cable works for the first time you use it, but then they also have solar panels on the top so they can charge while your car is driving down the road, or if it's parked outside, they can charge using the sun, which is kind of a nice feature.
Just having like a half an hour of sun allowed them to stay charged for like 2 or 3 days at a time. So the charge is very good on both of these units.
I was a little bit worried when I saw the cable in there that you would have to have them plugged in all the time, but that's not the case. And then the other cool thing is that they turn off after 10 minutes of not driving your car, so they can sense when the vehicle is in motion, and they'll turn right on, and then they'll turn off after your car has been parked for 10 minutes. So they won't run out of battery that way. They come with sticky mats to attach them to your dash if you'd like to do that. They come with all the tools you need, wrenches, nuts to put them on there, the dust shields, and a tool to remove them. If you're looking to purchase either of these, check out the link in the description to find a link to purchase them on Amazon. Alright, so let's look at the installation here. Take off the cap here. Then you're going to invert the dust shield. So the dust shield will end up going like this. So you're going to flip it around this way when you put it on just for the installation. Like so. Then you're going to install the nut. Screw this all the way down here. Then you grab the correct sensor, left LF means left front there. This is my left front tire. They said it would lose a little bit of air when you put it on. Then the other part of the installation is you're going to loosen the back nut so it tightens up against the back of the sensor. And then you're going to use your little wrench to tighten it down. And that just helps to make sure that there's a secure connection between the sensor and the valve stem here. That's on there pretty good. Just a little soapy water here. Now, after you spray the soapy water on there, you should be able to see little bubbles bubbling out if it is leaking. If you don't see bubbles bubbling up and out of around the seal there, then it's good to go and it's not leaking. And then you're gonna pull the dust shield back over to cover just so no junk gets down in there in salty water. So it kind of just goes over the sensor like so, and that's it. And this installation process works for both of these two models. It's exactly the same process. Then you're going to do that for all 4 tires. So right here you can see it says 41 PSI. I just got done driving, so it's elevated a little bit because as your tires heat up, the pressure will go up. So you'll see it go up and down slowly as you drive around. I'm going to use my pressure gauge here and check what it is to see how accurate the sensor is. So I'm reading about 30 PSI here. And the sensor came off. You can see this is what the warning is like, because the sensor isn't reading any pressure, so it's acting. That's how quick it responds too. So it's good that it responds very quickly to a sudden pressure drop. But as you can see here, I'm reading about 30 pounds. It was right here at the 30. So it's reading about 10 PSI, 11 PSI off. So yes, the reading was off by about 10 PSI. I've noticed that on a lot of cars, the readings and the readouts in the vehicle, like on our Jeep, it's off by about the same amount. You don't really need to know a specific pressure that the tire is at. It doesn't really tell you that much. That's why I like to use a steady gauge to tell what the pressure actually is. But if you notice, for example, that one of the tires is way lower than the others or way higher than what the other ones are, then that's a problem. If all the gauges, if all of them read about the same amount, so if they're all 10 over, then that's good because you can compare the tires to each other. And if you notice it's way down 10 or 5 PSI down below the other ones, it might be good to check out that tire. Alright, so I just got done setting up the M12, and I literally just installed all 4 sensors and they picked up right away, so that's good. And yeah, these ones seem to be reading the exact same pressure, 40 PSI, and all 4 tires are exactly the same. So you know that they are reading accurately, comparably to each other, so they're all about reading the same amount. They're just reading an incorrect number, and again, it's not that big of a deal. The biggest thing you want to make sure with these, and the reason you buy them, is if you drop pressure really quickly, you want it to let you know right away, and that's exactly what it does. Because when I disconnected the sensor, it was almost instantly, it went off and it started beeping to let me know that I was losing pressure. And again, that's what you want, because you don't want to be driving down the road, hit a nail or something, or crack a tire for some reason. They can do that, blow a tire, and not know about it. So this will help with that, and it will let you know right away. After trying out both these products, they're very good. They both work as intended. There are no issues with them working correctly or manufacturing defects or things like that. They also come with a 2-year warranty, which is really nice. And at the end of the day, I think if you're looking to pick one of these over the other, they're very similar. They do almost identical things. The biggest difference is the style that the readouts have, and so I would like to pick one that kind of matches the interior of my car more than the other, because otherwise they're generally pretty similar. The readout on the M12 is a little bit more fancy, I think, than the readout on the M7. So if you're looking for something that looks a little bit more fancy or more refined or more modern, I would go with the M12 over the M7. But either way, I don't think you can go wrong. If you're just looking for something that will functionally read out the pressure of your tires and you don't care too much about the aesthetics, then I would go with whichever one has a better price on Amazon, or if one is on sale over the other one, because sometimes they do have sales on these on Amazon. I would go with the cheaper one because, again, both of these are very similar products.